Maryland, a really talented football team. Coach Loxley's doing a very good job. He's put together a group of players and coaches, I think, that really understand who they are and what they want to do. So it's going to be a huge challenge going on the road, going down there to College Park. And you look at them offensively, they're very talented. It starts with the quarterback. They're big on the offensive line, good receivers, run game. Defensively, they're very big on the front, and they mix it up, do some 3-down stuff, some 4-down looks. Linebackers, tough, can run. Secondary, corners are really, really good players. Safeties are physical guys. Special teams, they'll challenge you in just about every area. So it will be a big test, but one that we're excited about going down and tackling it. So I'll try to open up for anything I can help you with.
I guess just when we look at their quarterback Tagovailoa on film, I mean, how do you feel like he compares to last year, and is there any area that you feel like he's really made considerable improvements in?
Well, I thought he was good last year, so he's just a little bit better version of who he is. He gets a lot of attention for his mobility and his ability to create plays, but I think he's also a very good pocket passer and field general, runs their offense with a great deal of confidence. It doesn't look like there's anything that he's not comfortable with in what they're doing. So he and Coach Loxley have a long relationship, and I think he's at the stage in his career where things are clicking for him.
Can you just give us injury updates on a few guys? Do you want to go one by one, or do you want me to just?
You can go one by one. That's good, then I won't forget.
Ireland Brown?
We're going to have to wait and see. He's gonna give it everything he got to play in this game, so we'll see how it goes.
Dion looked like a game-time decision. I don't know if he played at all. How is he?
Yeah, it was. It came down to warm-ups, and he just didn't feel like it was good enough to go.
Kess, he didn't dress, I think, for the 4th time in 5 games, something like that.
Yeah, he's got an issue with lower extremity issue that he's just not quite there yet.
And 2 guys out for the year, Aaron Young, Rene Conga. Can you clarify it all?
Yeah, Rene Conga got hurt in the Michigan State game, if you remember. And he's had surgery, and he's done for the year. Lower extremity injury. And Aaron Young is done for the year. He's going to have a procedure here at the end of this week. I don't think it's going to be a major one, but they got to go in there and just take care of something. So, it's 2 guys that were, Aaron was coming on. He's finally starting to look like himself again. So that's a shame. And Rene Conga was really coming on. I mean, he was having one of these kind of seasons, very productive and showing what he's going to be. But just kind of push it down the road a little bit, and he'll heal, and he'll be well.
Just to follow up on that, you talked about, I think, 11 surgeries after the game on Saturday. Is this I know football's a violent game and all that, but is this a more than you've ever dealt with? How's it compared to other seasons that you?
Yeah, this is about as many as we've ever had. Yeah, in 35 years. I've not seen it. But you know what? That's the way it goes. Some years it's that way, and I think it usually balances itself out. So we'll hopefully do a year where we don't have a bunch of those. But it is what it is. The guys that are playing are giving everything they got, and they're doing a heck of a job in their preparation. We're not quite there where we want to be. But as I told you guys Saturday after the game, we're a lot closer than maybe some people think. When you watch our game, as a coach, there's some, I say this, and I'm not sure guys truly understand what I mean. When every game takes on a life of its own, we had plenty of opportunities in the first, I don't know what you'd say, 20 minutes of that game to have a substantial lead, not a lead, at home. We just didn't do it. So when we can do that, then we'll start winning those type of games. But until we do, it doesn't do me any good to stand up here and explain it away. It's our job to coach it, and it's our players' jobs to execute it. So we certainly both have to do that better. But I'm encouraged. I really am. I look at what's going on. We got a lot of good stuff going on. So we've got to go win this game.
Preparation-wise, is there anything you'll do differently to address maybe those areas where those miscues were? As you said, the margin for error is very thin.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna, like you always do, Bobby. You evaluate the tape, you see where your issues were, and then you really try to determine first. Like I think what a lot of people want to do is they want to just fix the behavior right away. Well, we're going to fix the behavior, right? And I say behavior, the execution. But my question always to the players and the coaches is why? Like, why did we do it? We went into the game thinking we knew how to do it and we would do it, and then we didn't. Okay, so why? And it comes down to a couple things. Either we didn't coach it well enough, so there was a misunderstanding. They didn't learn it well enough, and there was a misunderstanding. Or they didn't execute it because of why, right? Was it nerves? Was it beginners, going through it the first time? Was it the opponent? They're just, that guy's too good, I can't do it against him, right? So we really classify things as we evaluate. And someday we can sit down and I'll show you. When a play is not efficient, right? So we have all these efficiency models. When a play is not efficient, there's really only a few reasons. We call it scheme, which is bad by us, right? We put a scheme out there that didn't serve the players well, right? Execution, right? The player just didn't execute his job well enough. Or mental, we made a mistake, right? And you really try to break it down into those three reasons. If it's an effort issue, shame on us. You shouldn't be on the field. We don't have effort issues, very rarely. But it boils down to one of those usually. And some of the reasons why, like that's telling you what caused it, but then the why. Why did that happen? That to me is coaching, getting down to the bottom of why, and then how do we verbalize it better? How do we show them better on video? How do we teach it better in person with hands-on? That's what we have to do. So we do that every week, and that's what I'm talking about, the continual growth of a program. But sometimes you feel like you don't have enough fingers to hold up the dike, and sometimes when you get good, it's like, oh, that was good. We did pretty good. Hey, we got to get these two things cleaned up and let's go get it, right? So we're not quite there yet, but we'll get there.
Assess what you've gotten out of the wide receivers, kind of overall this season.
Probably inconsistent, I say, would be we've made some really good plays, and then we've done some things that really any fan wouldn't notice, unless you're really a coach or a player. Things as simple as if I'm going to run a 9 route, which is a go route, I have to run it a certain way. If I'm going to run an 8 route, I got to run it. If I'm going to run a 6 route, I got to run those routes really technically sound, because all those things, depths, angles of entry, right? Angles once you make the break, because that all ties hand in hand with the quarterback, and the quarterback ties all hand in hand with the protection. So if I have to wait for you to get there, well, the protection better hold up. Otherwise, I'm going to get pushed off the spot, or I'm going to get sacked, even worse. So, yeah, that's we need to be better this Saturday at that position group for sure.
Do you consider Maryland a rival? And in that regard, where do you think your program stacks up against Maryland in terms of the big picture in this division?
I think they're a Big East. There's a flashback. They're a Big Ten East team that is local, right? So they're either the closest. They're probably closer than Penn State, really. So, do I consider them a rival? We've had some good games, we won one, they won one. So, I think it could become one. I don't think we have enough history yet for it to become a rivalry. Let it. Again, I always say this, that has to happen organically. There's got to be recruiting battles. There's got to be games that are, back and forth, and that kind of happens over time. We just haven't been in this league long enough. And quite honestly, two things. We haven't been in the league long enough. We haven't been good enough to make that happen. That'll happen over time.
It's been a little while since we've asked you about Reggie Sutton. I guess, how is he in his recovery, and is there a chance that he could be a factor going into the next season?
It's still up in the air. Yeah, he had, I've been around a lot of injuries in 35 years, as you can imagine, right? He had one of the roughest, toughest injuries I've ever seen. And he is an incredible warrior. I mean, that's all you can say about the guy. I see him work Think back, that happened Michigan week 2021. So that's what, week 4, right? So we're in week 12, week 13 with the bye, a year later. And this guy is still coming in every day trying to get it right. I pray for him. I really do. I hope that he can make it back because I know how badly he wants to. But I think it's safe to say it's still up in the air.
More of a big picture question, but the transfer portal opens, the new window opens in 2 weeks. Do you feel where you guys are at as a program, as a staff, as an athletic department, equipped to both retain players that are currently on the roster and be in competitive in the mix for the top players in the market to bolster whatever you have on the roster?
Well, I think that's an acute issue for sure, right? I mean, you're looking it right in the eye right now. December 5th is when the portal opens. I don't know. I know we have some things going on, but it's going to be a critical part of the continued growth of our program. But it's not just our program; it's any program. Do I think that this program's a little different in the way that we care for these guys and the way that there's an atmosphere in this building? I do. But I also think that if you have a young man who has an opportunity to make some substantial money, it's not easy to say no to. So I think we have to be able, I don't know if we have to match people dollar for dollar, which even sounds funny to say, right, at a college press conference, but it is what it is. We had plenty of opportunities to avoid this issue as a NCAA and as a group of coaches, administrators over the years, and we failed. And now the legal system is telling everybody how it's done. And it didn't have to be that way, but that's where we find ourselves. So I'm really hopeful that the Rutgers faithful will get behind this because we need it. We're going to work our tail off, as we always do, in recruiting and evaluation. I think our staff does as good a job better job than anybody in the country at really working at it and uncovering some guys that maybe people weren't aware of for one reason or another. We've had a lot of, I always call them stories. This guy came here, this is a story. It didn't just go, linear high school, go sign your, it always seems like we have a little bit of a story because our guys dig really deep, and we're going to have to keep doing that. But once you develop them, you need to be able to keep them. And I feel good about that, but you can't ever, in this environment, this landscape, you can't take anything for granted. You really have to stay on top of it. But we will do that. All right. Thanks, guys.